Welcome back to the Chicago Sports Desk. As always, I'm Alex Burstein, and today we're going over the rest of the MLS season and how the Men in Red, aka the Chicago Fire, are going to hold throughout the rest of the season. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with who would make the playoffs if the playoffs started today. A quick reminder of how the playoffs work. Six teams from each conference, there's two conferences, the Western and the Eastern, make the playoffs. Top two teams from each conference get a bye to the second round, and from there, it's just a bracket formation to the finals, where one team will be crowned the Audi MLS champs. So, starting today, the two top seeds in the Eastern Conference would be Toronto FC and New York City FC, and the two knockout round matches would be number 3, Chicago, and number 6, New York Red Bulls, as well as number 4, Columbus, and number 5, Atlanta. Both those games will be held on either October 25th or October 26th. Go over to the Western Conference, and Vancouver and Portland have the byes currently. And in the knockout round matches, number 3, Sporting Kansas City, and number 6, Real Salt Lake are playing, as well as number 4, Seattle, a traditional powerhouse, and number 5, San Jose. These teams should hold for the rest of the season their playoff spots, despite the ordering might get changed. For example, Chicago and New York City FC are separated by 3 points, each having played 29 games. New York City has 51 points, and Chicago has 48. This is a 34-game season being played before the playoffs. So I'll round out the top 6, who's playing. The teams that would be in the playoffs as of today, what points they have. Toronto FC has 62 points. New York City FC has 51 points. Chicago has 48 points. Columbus, who has played one more game than most of the teams have played 29 games, so they've played 30, has 44 points. Number 5, Atlanta, has played 2 less games than all the other teams. They have 43 points. And number 6, the New York Red Bulls, have 42 points. The rest of the league follows as Montreal, New England, Orlando City, Philadelphia, and DC United. In the Western Conference, leading off is Vancouver. Vancouver's played 28 games and has 45 points. Portland's played 30. They have 44 points, as well as Sporting Kansas City and Seattle Sounders all have 44 points. San Jose has 39 points, and Real Salt Lake has 38 points. Also, Houston Dynamo and SC Dallas have 38 points, so they're all fighting for that last spot in the playoffs. The rest of the league follows as Minnesota United, LA Galaxy, and Colorado. Interesting to see two teams that have a bunch of U.S. men's national team players at the bottom. Well, LA Galaxy has just been a traditional powerhouse, and Colorado had Tim Howard, one of the best goalies the U.S. has ever had, but a little bit of trouble he's gotten into this season, so they're not at the top of the table anymore. So let's go into some quick coverage of the Chicago Fire. Chicago Fire have won three straight games, just like how they were in the start of the season, after having a decline that put them in 4th or 5th place. Now they're back in the 3rd place with a chance to go second. Second would mean they get the bye. Toronto is the clear front runner in the Eastern Conference and most likely will be in 1st place with 62 points. But 1 or 2 wins from Chicago and they can overtake New York City FC because Chicago does have a better goal difference by 2 goals. So 1 win for Chicago and 1 loss for New York City FC, and Chicago has the bye. So, their upcoming schedule, as I said, they have 5 games left. This month they've played Montreal Impact, that was a 1-0 win. They played New York Red Bulls, that was a 1-1 draw, and they played DC United, and that was a 3-0 win. None of the really good teams. New York Red Bulls are a playoff team. DC United is one of the worst teams in the league. But still, quality wins nonetheless. And they close out their season against Philadelphia Union, on Saturday, September 23rd. San Jose Earthquakes, Wednesday, September 27th. The team they're competing with for the spot in the bye round is New York City SC. They played them Saturday, September 30th, so that's ought to be a good match. And then they close up the season with Philadelphia Union on Sunday, October 15th, after a little break there for national team stuff. And then they finish their season in Houston on October 22nd against the Houston Dynamo. So that's the rest of the season. I'll get into a few things about the Fire. Their 3 wins have moved them up in the table, as I said multiple times, and that means they've become one of the better teams in the league. And with that means that they might be able to seal themselves a spot in the CONCACAF Champions League with a few wins, because the top 2 teams in the MLS after the regular season get spots in the next year's CONCACAF Champions League. After a few games, it didn't look like Chicago was going to make it, but a spurge of energy here, and they right now most likely could hold on and get that CONCACAF Champions League spot. Next, we have Nikolic, the player on Chicago Fire, has really formed himself as one of the best players in Chicago Fire history. They aren't, he isn't the fastest, but he does have a really good really good touch on the ball. He's one of the top scorers ever in Fire history. Remember, Fire dates back all the way to 1997. So, Nikolic definitely helping with this charge for the Fire. And finally, Schwarzenegger is absent. He's injured, but Chicago still has a bunch of players who are putting in the work. So we're going to hope that the men in red can get their job done as they face off against Philadelphia and San Jose soon. And then also they finish their season up against NYCFC, Philadelphia, and Houston Dynamo. As always, I'm Alex Burstein. That's all the time we have for today on the Chicago Sports Desk. But thanks for listening, and make sure to check out next Wednesday. So we're going to be going over some college basketball. It's that time again. Thanks as always, and goodbye.